both Tata Advanced Systems Limited, TABL, and of course, Boeing India. My compliments to all of you on reaching this amazing milestone of 100th Apache Fuselage from Telangana, from Hyderabad, from India. So I think a good round of applause to the entire team. Like Sukarn pointed out, I was there in all three occasions. When the late Mr. Parikar broke ground, I was there. When Mrs. Sitaraman was here to inaugurate, along with the Chairman Emeritus of Tata Group, Shri Ratan Tata ji, I was there too. And today I'm also happy to be there when the 100th fuselage is being shipped out of Hyderabad. So privileged to be a part of this brilliant story, because I remember when this conversation from my perspective started back in 2014-15, my first visit to the United States as a minister, I had the opportunity to meet some of the top management from Boeing side in Washington, D.C. Thereafter, I think parallelly, Tatas were of course talking to Boeing, and even the government engagement started around the same time. What happened subsequently was we had a large team of senior executives fly down from the United States to Hyderabad to Telangana. And then subsequently, both Tata, Advanced Systems Limited, Boeing, again, the entire team came scouting, scoping. And then they said they also needed their suppliers nod. So the large suppliers meet was held right here in the city of Hyderabad with almost 100 plus suppliers of Boeing. I remember also attending that event. So all in all, today, a very comprehensive ecosystem, thanks largely to Tata Advanced Systems Limited and their partnerships that they've forged with Boeing, with Lockheed, with GE and others. Thanks to them that today Hyderabad really enjoys a great reputation in the aerospace and defense ecosystem. I'd be remiss not to mention Mr. Vijay Singh and the entire team of TASL. Thank you, sir, and thank you to the entire team of TABL. Sukarn, you've been guiding us from the very beginning. Thank you very much. Salil, he was just telling me, in fact, narrating a story rather. When the pandemic actually started back in March in India, I know Salil was a very worried man, because he was worried about what would happen to the manufacturing here and how that would affect the entire supply chain, and what would happen to their factories in the US. But I remember a conversation, Salil, when he just told me he was driving when he spoke to me. I advised him, of course, not to speak on the phone when you're driving, but nevertheless. Salil, we had a conversation. He said, we have to ensure that the operations go on. We have to ensure that, the manufacturing goes unhindered, while, of course, taking all precautions, etc. So my compliments to you, Salil, and on being steadfast, on being focused, on ensuring, I think, the service deliveries that you've set for yourself, on meeting them as well. Mr. Banmali Agarwala, and of course the entire team of US Embassy here, led by Clark, and Mr. Pallam Raju, who is a dear friend and a former Union Minister, and of course our local friend here, Masood Hussaini, who's always there, telling us what needs to be done and when it needs to be done. Thank you, Masood, for being a great friend also. Just 2 or 3 things I'd like to quickly point out. In fact, the Hyderabad-based aerospace and defense ecosystem has been ranked number 1 globally in cost effectiveness by the Financial Times FDI Future Aerospace Cities Rankings 2020. The Ministry of Civil Aviation has also awarded Telangana as the Best State Award for 2020 and 2018 for the state with most progressive outlook towards aerospace sector. This only reinforces Sukarn's point about how Telangana is a fantastic place to invest, especially in this sector. Traditionally, as you all know, Hyderabad has been known as the missile hub of India, and has been leading the manufacturing and has also been the manufacturing and research hub for defense industry since the mid-60s. Hyderabad hosts a dozen DRDO labs and major defense public sector undertakings such as BDL, ECIL, BEL, HAL, etc., besides an ordnance factory also. Each of these institutions has nurtured and supported a large number of local MSMEs in defense manufacturing. In fact, that number is more than 1,000 today, many of whom also support the aerospace supply chain. Talking about supply chain, in fact, Boeing India and Salil have just introduced me to 2 Hyderabad MSMEs with whom they have forged a new partnership. Azad Engineering, and also Raghu Vamsi. My compliments to these two young entrepreneurs, on forging a wonderful relationship, and I'm proud that you're from Hyderabad and from Telangana. And thank you, Boeing, for this opportunity as well. Number of state government initiatives led by our Honorable Chief Minister Shri K. Chandrasekhar Rao Garu. Legislation such as the TSI Pass, which guarantees all clearances within 15 days, or on the 16th day it becomes an approval by default, a deemed approval. This is unheard of in India. Of course, an infrastructure that is world-class, state-of-the-art, and dedicated aerospace and defense parks, and of course, creating an advanced skilling ecosystem. This is one area which, as Jayesh pointed out, I would also like to request both Mr. Vijay Singh and also Salil and Sukaran, if you could also, because you guys have invested significantly in Hyderabad, you continue to invest, you continue to grow along with us as our partners. I would really like to see an ISB like Indian School of Business like setup for the aerospace and defense industry, where we create a world-class skilling and learning institution, which will ensure that not only does Hyderabad produce world-class employees for your facilities here, but also possibly for your facilities elsewhere in the world as well. That is something that I truly believe can happen, provided we collaborate, provided we work together. Government of Telangana, as I pointed out, has identified aerospace and defense as a priority sector, and we continue to grow this space. In fact, we already have nearly 7 dedicated industrial parks for this sector. Adi Batla, which is where you are, Nagar Gul, the GMR Aerospace SEZ, the Adani Aerospace Park, and we have a couple more lined up also, which we are going to unveil soon. As I also pointed out, not just research and development and manufacturing, but innovation is another area where I think industries such as aerospace and defense can do a lot in a country like India, and more particularly in a state like Telangana. In fact, I remember a program which Boeing had run along with T-Hub, a corporate innovation program called as Horizon X. As part of this program, Boeing had identified certain set of challenges which needed tweaking, which needed innovation, and 8 startups from all over India were finalized and were given an opportunity to work on some challenges. And I do believe the opportunity to do more, the opportunity to innovate more, find more solutions, create value is out there for us to be able to take it up. I'm delighted that not just the defense piece of Boeing, but as Salil pointed out, even the civil aviation piece, the vertical fins, will also now be manufactured from your TABL facility, TABL facility here in Hyderabad. I'm delighted because it's a big move. I'm delighted because it's a very big step ahead. And I do believe that there are a couple more pieces which can also be done from Hyderabad, Salil. One is, of course, like I pointed out, the defense electronics piece, which I think the potential to do more in India is up for the grabs, is something that we need to look at closely. The other thing I also, of course, I keep reminding you that we have better infrastructure than Bangalore. So I think you should seriously consider more research and development activity also happen from Hyderabad. Bangalore is already crowded. Bangalore is where you don't know when you'll catch your next flight at what time. So therefore, seriously consider Telangana and Hyderabad for that as well. I think I've said enough. Congratulations to the entire team. I look forward to being part of many, many more milestones down the road. Thank you very much for this invitation.